West Dakota Fox News at 9. A fiery tornado takes flight. Plus, a shakeup at the Morton County Sheriff's Office. But first, an investigation is underway into alleged sexual misconduct involving minors and a Bismarck basketball tournament.
This is West Dakota Fox News at 9 with Molly Martinez and meteorologist Henry Blakes. Your first news of the night starts right now on West Dakota Fox News at 9.
Good evening, I'm Molly Martinez. Police are trying to piece together what happened during an unsupervised night after a Bismarck basketball tournament. The incident involves players and minors. Tonight, it's a criminal investigation. Reporter Ryan Gloughlin has been following the story.
Bismarck police wouldn't elaborate because the case is involving minors. But today, a public records request revealed 3 coaches of the Warwick boys basketball team are suspended for multiple games. According to the documents, the incident occurring on January 5th involved several students leaving their rooms and engaging in inappropriate behavior. The superintendent says there was a bed check at 11:30 that night, but found there was not enough proper supervision by the coaches at the hotel. There's few other details other than the lack of supervision created multiple problems, some of which are not yet resolved. The superintendent says his basketball coaches are good guys that made a mistake. He says we're allowed to make mistakes, but we're not allowed to not learn from them. As far as the criminal investigation, it's still ongoing.
The head coach was suspended for 3 games and the 2 assistant coaches were suspended for 2 games, all unpaid. As for the students involved, the superintendents say they are facing discipline from the school. Time now is 9:01. Let's take our first check on weather with meteorologist Henry Blake. Thank you, Henry. Big changes are coming to the Morton County Sheriff's Department. It's part of a restructure involving 11 internal promotions. Morton County Sheriff Kyle Kermeyer says it's all in the name of efficiency. He wanted more supervisors for better decision making out in the field.
The turning point, yeah, it was pre-DAPL. You know, I was thinking about a pre-DAPL to be able to do this, but that delayed it to make sure I could do it the way I wanted to.
The sheriff says this allows for better leadership opportunities on the force. A former police chief is headed to trial following a sex crime charge in 3 different counties. 52-year-old James Watson was head of police in Lemuel. He's charged with continuous sexual abuse of a child dating back to 2011. Watson is also accused in Stark and Hettinger counties. He could get up to life in prison without parole if convicted. A Garrison man was just got 3 years probation after punching a Ward County Sheriff's deputy in the head. 44-year-old Archie Hopkins punched the deputy after he uncuffed him. It happened last March. Hopkins pleaded guilty yesterday to assault on a peace officer. Some wild video to show you out of West Fargo. This is on I-94. You can see a semi try and run an SUV off the road. Steve Ost sent us this dash cam video. We talked to Highway Patrol, who says this is a clear traffic violation, but the penalty, believe it or not, is only a $20 ticket violation. The driver of the SUV managed to keep control and eventually made it back onto the interstate. New details tonight about a lawsuit against some state leaders. The air ambulance provider Guardian Flight is suing Insurance Commissioner John Gottfried and Attorney General Wayne Stenghjem. According to court documents, Guardian Flight argues that a 2017 bill that regulates the amount air ambulance services charge conflicts with the Federal Airline Deregulation Act.
We got to find a better solution to that, and we believe the bill we passed does that, and it fits within the rules of what we can do, given that we're regulating the business of insurance.
The federal act says that the state cannot limit how much air ambulances services charge. Also in legal news, the Attorney General's office has filed a lawsuit against Spa de Athena. Spa de Athena closed down in October, but the Attorney General says they did not honor more than $500,000 in gift cards. The Consumer Protection Division says 1,400 customers have complained so far. The suit asked the spa to refund those customers. New details out of Minot. Testimony wrapped yesterday in the civil trial over the fate of Pioneer Village on state fairgrounds. The North Dakota State Fair wants to evict the village from the fairgrounds. The Ward County Historical Society argues that they have the right to remain on the property. Judge Rhonda Ellis asked both attorneys to submit post-trial briefs for her consideration and will make a final ruling at a later date. Sanford Health in Bismarck is hosting a community education event on opioids next Tuesday. Time to talk opioids, addiction, caring for our community will feature First Lady Catherine Helgas-Burgum and Bismarck Police. It will focus on the socioeconomic impacts of opioids, stigma, shame, law enforcement prevalence, and the face of the addict. It starts at 7 p.m. in the UND building at 701 East Rosser. Registration is required. The Attorney General's office just submitted the proposed rules for medical marijuana. If the Legislative Council approves the rules at its March meeting, those rules will go into effect on April 1st. Jason Wall with the Division of Medical Marijuana has said he expects patients to have medical marijuana by the end of the year. The U.S. Commerce Department says home sales were down almost 10% in December, but prices are on the rise. Megan Hoffman is here to tell us how the local market is doing. Megan?
While sales were low and prices high nationally, locally the numbers are looking much better. According to one realtor, there's a record number of homes for sale in the local area right now. She says prices are staying pretty steady, but will probably increase slightly this year just because of inflation.
We have a really good market here in Bismarck, Mandan. We have some great homes on the market. We have a lot of homes on the market, so there's definitely a lot for the buyers to pick from today.
Santa says right now in Bismarck and Mandan, there's more of a buyer's market than a seller's market.
Thank you, Megan. Tax season is officially underway, and AARP is working to help people file their returns. The company is helping those 60 and older, as well as people with low to moderate incomes. You don't need to be a member of AARP to receive help. Last year, AARP helped file over 9,000 tax returns for residents here in North Dakota.
Anybody who might need some assistance doing their taxes and has a simple tax return can stop in and visit with our tax aid volunteers.
You can find a list of locations and the times they're open at aarp.org/ND. You must call ahead of time to make an appointment. Also in the state, 60,000 people rely on the public employees retirement system for health care. Now the legislature is looking to make changes to that system. They're deciding whether or not to stay in the fully insured method or to switch to a self-insured method. That determines whether an insurance company or the state takes the financial risk. Representative George Kaiser says the self model makes the most sense.
If you do it correctly, self-insurance for a plan this size will result in a savings to the state.
Changing to a self model would also mean changing laws on who has oversight of the plan. Well, February means Flurry Fest for Bismarck Parks and Recreation. The month-long event aims to get people outside and active in the middle of winter. Skating with the Bismarck Bobcats, cardboard sled races, and nighttime cross-country skiing will be happening across the city all month.
It's just something to get you out in the cold winter months, give you something else to do rather than just sitting inside and waiting for the cold to disappear.
You can find a full schedule of events at bismarckparks.org. At least 11 people are dead after a fire tears through a nursing home in northern Japan. Flames broke out just after midnight. This is in Sapporo. Crews were able to rescue 5 of the residents. The cause of the fire is under investigation. Crews in Arizona spent last night battling a brush fire near Tucson. This is known as the river fire. At one point, high winds created a tornado of flames. Look at that. So far, 40 acres have been torched. Crews were on scene all day today trying to mop it out. In Michigan, police arrest a suspect on a shooting spree. Officers say the 45-year-old suspect walked into BSD Line Haul Incorporated, where he used to work. That's when he opened fire, killing an employee. He then stole a 2016 white semi and drove it to a location in Pontiac and shot and killed another victim. The ordeal ended after the suspect crashed into another vehicle. Another shooting to tell you about, this time at a Los Angeles middle school. Police say a female suspect between the ages of 12 and 13 entered Castro Middle School today and opened fire. 2 students were shot. One of those victims is in critical condition tonight. The other is listed as in fair condition. The suspect is under arrest. Today, the NTSB was on scene investigating after a train carrying dozens of Republican lawmakers crashed into a garbage truck yesterday, killing the driver. The accident happened in Crozet, Virginia. None of the lawmakers sustained serious injury. A person is injured tonight after a train jumps the tracks in Alabama. This happened around 7 p.m. last night. This is near Akron. Officials at this point do not believe speed was a factor. In aviation news, the Airbus long-range jet just completed its maiden voyage. Airbus says the jet is the world's longest-range single-aisle aircraft. The plane is designed for transatlantic flights and can carry up to 240 people. The aircraft can fly for 4,000 nautical miles, which translates to about 8 hours before it needs to refuel. Speaking of air travel, Google is looking to improve your flight plans by using artificial intelligence. The site will be updating its travel feature to predict when a flight may be delayed in the future. It will use historical flight status info to help forecast delays efficiently. The TSA releasing some new data tonight showing record numbers of guns confiscated from carry-on bags. More than 3,907 firearms were removed from carry-on bags last year. One of those was here in Bismarck. Of those confiscated, more than 84% were loaded and 34% were round-chambered. Well, we've covered planes, trains, now to automobiles. Toyota is recalling 645,000 vehicles due to faulty airbags. The company says the cars have an electrical problem that could prevent the airbags from inflating in a crash. The recall covers 2015 Toyota Lexus models produced between May 2015 and March 2016. In business news, Microsoft takes a multi-billion-dollar hit from the newly passed federal tax laws. The tech giant says it weathered a $13.8 billion charge in the fourth quarter of 2017 due to the tax reform. Experts say more companies are likely to announce similar charges in the weeks ahead. Yesterday, Sears laid off 220 employees. The move is part of a department store's ongoing restructuring plan to aim back for profitability. Sears Holding announced plans to close just over 100 unprofitable Kmart and Sears stores last month. One of those is here in Bismarck. Switching gears now, a wild rescue in Oak Park. It's a raccoon stuck on the 6th floor of a building. Crews worked for hours to coax him down. Just when they thought they had him, he ended up jumping into another safety net. Another long descent. Tomorrow, the United Arab Emirates, they're opening the world's longest zip line. Thrill seekers will be propelled about 93 miles an hour down the country's highest mountain peak. The nearly 2-mile-long zip line spans the equivalent of 28 soccer fields and has been certified by the Guinness World Records. Now let's zip over to meteorologist Henry Blakes for our full forecast.
Hey, we're going to have some changes in the weather.
We're only a couple days away from kickoff in Super Bowl 52. Tomorrow we'll have team coverage from Minneapolis ahead of the big game. West Dakota Fox's Kaylee Emery will take us behind the scenes of the game. Speaking of the Super Bowl, there's some pretty cool tech tackling the stands this year. Take a look.
The countdown to kickoff is on, and this year's Super Bowl is lining up some supersized fanfare, starting with the NFL Experience, a fan favorite that was born in Minneapolis a quarter-century ago.
A lot of the critical pieces that we put together for this event were born here, and we are bringing them back. We'd like to think they're better than ever before. We've got so many things that are digital.
There, you can kick a field goal, throw a winning touchdown, practice your snaps, or snap a pick with the Lombardi Trophy. From the 50-yard line to the cheap seats, Bud Light is lighting up the stands with multicolored glowing cups. Here's how it works. You get your glass, you download the Bud Light Touchdown Glass app, you pick your team, and then once your team scores a touchdown, your cup celebrates too. This works for next season also. Tens of millions of viewers will watch the Patriots and Eagles battle it out on the gridiron on Sunday. Kickoff is 5:30 Central Time.
Justin Timberlake says his Super Bowl halftime show will include some never-before-seen flair. The performer spoke with reporters this afternoon. JT says he's expected to be back on the Super Bowl halftime stage, but his preparations for Super Bowl 52 have included more than just rehearsing songs.
Routes too. I just want to throw this out there to Belichick. If all of your receivers go down, I'll be ready to go. So shoot me a text.
There's been a lot of speculation about what special guests might appear with him, but Timberlake says it'll just be he and his band. Still ahead, puppy love this Valentine's Day could take a serious bite out of your wallet. Well, humans aren't the only ones that will be receiving love and affection this Valentine's Day. According to a new survey, 20% of consumers will purchase gifts for their pets on Valentine's Day. According to the National Retail Federation, spending on pets jumped 27% this year alone. Speaking of puppy love, a shelter dog is making his way to the big game this year. Carlo the Pug was selected as a starter for the 14th annual Puppy Bowl. Officials say Carlo shows a lot of promise on the field and hopes to join your home team. Henry, one way to save money this Valentine's Day is just don't tell your pets it's Valentine's Day.
That is true, yeah. Saving money is tough, but hey, may have a good chance, well, not this weekend because Super Bowl, of course, is going to spend money. But hey, as we wake up on your Friday morning, temperatures will be in the single digits, but across the Southwest, like Dickinson, surrounding areas, you'll be starting out your day in the teens. And really, that's where our highs are going to be. Better chance of 20s will be across the Southwest and down into South Dakota. But north wind tomorrow, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy skies. Some snow showers potentially sneaking in to parts of eastern Montana and northwestern North Dakota, at least for the evening hours at that. But better snow chances will be overnight into your Saturday. Also, that next round of Arctic air is underway. So tomorrow is only a teaser where we get a little warmer, but then by the weekend, that's where we're back into the single digits and teams linger at least into the middle of next week.
All right, you heard it. Don't get too spoiled tomorrow. We'll see you then.